Good evening, everyone. This meeting has been posted and announced in accordance with Chapter 231 PL 1975. Mr. Belladino, will you call the roll?
Sure. Trustee Groman.
Here.
Trustee Jacko. Trustee Lopez.
Here.
Trustee Shore.
Here.
Trustee Sheldon.
Here.
Vice President Pereira. Here. Madam President.
Here.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend meetings of this board, except where specifically exempted by law, in which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this Act, the Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the same advertised in the Belleville Times. Also, notice of this meeting has been mailed to members of the Board of Education, the Borough Clerk, all elementary schools, the middle school, the high school, and on the district website.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from August 27th for the closed session and the public session?
I move that we approve the minutes.
So moved. Second?
Second.
Mr. Belladino?
Trustee Groman.
Yes.
Trustee Jacko. Trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Trustee Shore.
Yes.
Trustee Sheldon.
Yes.
Vice President Pereira.
Yes.
Madam President.
Yes. Moving on to our high school representative, Nancy.
Good evening. I'm Nancy Vu, and I'm the BHS Student Government Secretary. Here's a recap of what's been happening at BHS. Starting with old business, the freshman orientation was held on August 29th at 10 a.m. About 200 incoming students were given a tour of our school to better prepare themselves for the new school year. The Fall Pep Rally was held on Friday, September 21st in the Belleville Municipal Stadium. All fall athletes were announced, and we wish them a great season. Now on to new business. On September 26th, there will be a back-to-school night at Belleville High School. Parents will be welcome to BHS and able to meet our teachers. There will also be an extracurricular fair set up in the cafeteria for parents to see the clubs, activities, and electives offered here at BHS. Financial aid night will take place at the high school on October 4th. Also, the 4th annual Hispanic Heritage Festival will be held on October 13th. It will be a great event to bring the community together. That's all. Have a great night, everyone.
Moving on to items to be presented by the administration, Dr. Franco.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming. This is our first board meeting of the new school year. We're very excited. So a few things about that. I think we had an excellent transition into the first week of school. This evening when you came in, outside we have Miss Harlan out here from Chartwell's. We wanted to give you a taste, no pun intended, of our new Rise and Shine program that we have at the elementary schools. So on your way in, if you didn't, maybe you can go out and grab a bag breakfast that all of our students receive, or a sample of what our students receive every day now for the past few weeks. I think it's been going great. We've had some hurdles, but I want to say publicly that I want to thank the administrators and the teachers. What a fantastic job of just dealing with the extra stress of putting that upon you the first few days of school as well, with some of the issues that we had moving forward. Some of the teacher suggestions have been fantastic. The kids are really stepping up, especially the 6th graders, to help deliver the food and stuff. So I think it's going great. We're going to continue to get better and continue to grow that program and make sure that that's working, that it's meeting our mission and the board's goals of the goal of making sure every child has the ability to have a nutritious start in the morning. Along with the RISE program, and now some of the other wellness things that we'll be doing. So thank you again. I want to thank Charles. I want to thank our teachers and our administration, and the kids. The kids are really taking to it. So I think it's been very successful so far. Also, just basically want to tell you or ask you to get involved with a lot of the activities here, especially the back to school nights. We've done a robocall now to try to invoke some more presence at our athletic events. I'm going to be hearing from the athletic committee later for an update. But again, a lot of great things happening here, a lot of spirit, a lot of hard work from our teachers. Everybody came back from the summer rejuvenated, ready to go. So we're excited about this, so progress. I want to start tonight with some interesting things. First is educational grant, the Construction Industry Career Day. This is something that Ms. Kroenke told me about from our counselors and one of our teachers here. It's just a phenomenal thing. So I'd like to call them up. The program coordinator is Ms. Jill Schiff. Ms. Schiff, oh, there you are, Ms. Schiff. I'd also like to call up John, come on up. John Flynn, Mr. Flynn, one of our counselors, and Frank Longo. Is Mr. Longo there? There's Mr. Longo. You come on up, and maybe you could explain what this is, and we're really excited about this, so thank you, Ms. Schiff.
Yes. Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Jill Schiff. I'm with the Associated Construction Contractors of New Jersey. We are a construction trade association that represents general contractors and construction managers here in the state. I'm also project director for Construction Industry Career Day. It's a 2-day event that's held at the end of May, and it showcases the career opportunities in the construction industry. It is a free event that's made possible by the unions. They are event sponsors, and they offset the costs of the entire event. This year we had 2,500 people come, and we'd like to thank Belleville High School very much. They were one of the schools that participated. Students have an opportunity to do hands-on activities. It's not 10 by 10 booths. They get to lay brick, use a screw gun, put together scaffolding, use a crane simulator. It's very, very interactive. And we'd like to thank you again very much for attending. And out of all the schools that attended, they have the opportunity for professional development credit when they're entering into a drawing. We select 10 schools randomly to receive $500, and Belleville High School. Thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Schiff, very much. Mr. Longo and I attended. I believe we probably had about 40 students. Great experience. A lot of our students were exposed to the trades, and we'd love to see them further those interests in the future. I think the intention is to have several of the unions attend our college and career fair, and we look forward very much to that to happen. So I want to thank Ms. Schiff for allowing us to attend and for this wonderful award.
Thank you, again. Thank you both. Frank, you want to add any words? Thank you. If you want.
Actually, this is my third year teaching.
Yep.
I teach shop here, and I was approached by Ms. Kroenke to go to this job fair, and I think a lot of the students actually got a lot out of it. I'm looking forward to actually having some of the unions come here on career night, so that a lot of these students are looking to go into a trade to get a better idea of what is going on in the industry, which was shown at the actual show. Like she was saying, they were interactive things, and the kids actually enjoyed it very much. And a lot of the students are looking forward to possibly going back this year.
Thank you.
So it was a very good experience.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much. And to piggyback off that, with regard to our referendum and other projects, first I'd like to recognize again Mr. Henry, who's in the audience, and all of his men and women that work, maintenance, custodial, just the grounds crew, just the amount of work that we're doing on our perception projects and other safety projects that are working hard, putting in a new path to the high school. I mean, it really is incredible. So I want to thank you guys again. You're always out there with the hard work. So thank you. Yep. I don't know if you're snarling at me or you just can't see me, Richard. Every time you're kind of like. But thank you very much. And lastly, before we get to a very exciting thing tonight, which I love every year, just a referendum update. So we're kind of winding down The first phase of referendum projects, which includes some parking lots. We did a lot of work to the roofing areas. And we had some walkthroughs today regarding some of the new projects that are going out to bid over the next few weeks. And we're going to see some work happening early spring, late spring. So now a lot of our work on the back end happens with the project plans and approvals and whatnot. So we had a lot of activity over the summer. A lot of activity in some of the new bathrooms. If you have to use lavatories tonight, those 2 bathrooms are brand new. ADA compliance issues, parking lot, like I said, and we're just very excited about the progress that was made. The crews are great. Epic Constructions, our management company, did an excellent job. Wayne Jurgensen was on board. Mr. Palladino did an excellent job. Mr. Henry. So we're very pleased with what happened over the summer, and the expectation of the board and the central administration is that it's going to continue with the rest of these projects to assure you all that you put your faith in me and this board with regard to the money that you permitted us to utilize in referendum. We're going to make sure it's utilized properly. So thank you very much with that. We're very excited about that. Which leads me to the last thing with the referendum, which the board and I discussed tonight a little bit with regard to some legal issues as well. However, just to give you all a heads up, and it's coming out in the next few months, the recommendation from my office to the board is going to be to extend the summer this year, which means to stretch out the summer vacation in order so we can get a few more, at least a week or a week and a half of more construction time in the summer when the students aren't here. So this is the first that anyone in the public is hearing of it, but so we will have an extended, my recommendation will be to have an extended summer, which of course means that there'll be less days off for breaks and whatnot during the regular school year. But this is an important thing because on average, 1 day in the summer equates to 1 full week of construction when school is in session. So it's very important to get these projects done because a lot of these projects that will be happening in the summer have to do with the heat, heat projects, boiler projects, windows, and whatnot. So it's very important that we give our workers and our construction teams enough time to get in there when the students aren't here, and the faculty and staff aren't here for the safety of them, and just basically scheduling. It's a lot easier. So again, maybe a little bit inconvenient, maybe interesting if you have an extended vacation a little bit, maybe when everybody's back in school, that's maybe when parents can make some plans. Travel plans and teachers, but we're going to get that information out to the board for approval as soon as possible. We are working on that, so I wanted to drop that hint tonight as well. Thank you. So every year, well, at least since I've been here, we'd like to recognize publicly those individuals who retired last year. So there's some people that may have left late that are not here. We'll see them next year. But again, we want to recognize their hard work, their dedication to the students in Belleville, the community in Belleville. This is a calling, this profession. I say that to my colleagues all the time. This is not something that you wake up in the morning and say, hey, I'm just going to be a teacher, I'm going to be a paraprofessional. No, it's a calling. It's a profession where people say, oh, you have your summers off, you don't do any work, and we know in the field that that's absolutely not true. There's nothing more important than a teacher, right? No one gets where they are without the help of a teacher, the support of a teacher, or a paraprofessional, or an aide, or anyone. So we want to recognize the hard work of these individuals for the commitment that they made to the students and the community of Belleville. And how much I appreciate it, and this board appreciates it. It's just a small token of what you've done. We can never repay you all for what you did here. And those of you who are in the audience tonight, and those of you who are in the field for many years, maybe contemplating leaving the field, retirement or whatnot, you know that on those rough days, when you really want to say, just pack it up and say, it's time to move on, that's when you take out the 1 or 2 notes, right? Or you remember some of those things that you have from students that you had in class, or you realize it really did affect change. You really did change the life of someone, or you taught someone something that they didn't know. And those are the reasons, or that is the reason why we continue to do this every day, and that is why we're honoring them tonight. So please, I'm hoping they're all here, but I don't think so. But I would like to recognize the following retirements. 2017-2018 school year. Please come up for a certificate. Jennifer Abrams. You can see. Robert Amato. Mr. Amato over here. Kathy Caruso. Ms. Caruso. Miss Ann Kochi. Miss Renee DiGicino. Ms. DiGicino. Ms. Kathleen Draws. Ms. Deborah Ferran. Ms. Ferran. Oh, picture. Miss Sherry Lynn Jameson. Ms. Jameson. Miss Deborah Marino. Ms. Marino. Mr. Anthony Nicosia. Ms. Faith Powell. Ms. Faith Powell. Ms. Jean Precario. Ms. Precario. Ms. Susan Ravel. Ms. Ravel. Mr. James Busamato. Miss Angela Salinger. And finally, Miss Michelle Volpe. Once again, I want to thank you for your commitment to the district. Thank you so much for everything you've done. We hope you enjoy your retirement. We have room on the sub list when you're ready. Just let us know. We will be contacting you shortly after the 6 months. But thank you again. Thank you for everything. I appreciate it. And with that, Madam President, I say progress.
Thank you, Dr. Tonka. We have no report from Mr. Eaton tonight, since he's not here. So we'll be moving on to remarks by citizens. Can I have a motion to open for public participation?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Remarks regarding agenda items that are relevant to the educational system. A participant must sign in and be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface comments by announcing his or her name, municipality, and group affiliation if appropriate. The individual call shall proceed with a maximum of 3 minutes. All statements shall be directed to the President of the Board of Education. No participant may address board members individually. Sarah Amano?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Logano. For those of you who don't know me, I have 3 children in Belleville schools at school 8, junior high, and high school. I'm also a product of Belleville education. So congratulations and thank you to all of the teachers who have retired. And we're so thankful for their contributions to the town. Just wanted to shout out. So I went to number 8. I graduated in 2000. When I was at number 8 school, Shirley Jameson was my PE teacher. And then I had her again in high school. And she's one of those staples in the Belleville school system. And while we're so bummed to see her go, I'm just so appreciative, not only of her time and commitment, but everyone else's. But she really did make the Belleville school experience just so amazing and huge. And I can't say enough about her. And so yeah, forgive me. Thank you so much for the Rise and Shine program. For those of you who know, I had commented quite a bit last school year about the importance of the kids getting some nutrition here at school. There are, plenty of children who don't qualify for free or reduced lunch, yet they still struggle to bring food to school. So this program is huge and beneficial to keep these kids nourished, and I'm just so very thankful for that. And so I've gone back to school to become a teacher. My goal is to be a high school ELA teacher, and one of the most amazing things that I see is the example of teacher leaders in our school district. And they really set the bar high for the type of educator I'd like to become. I see a lot of repeat names in the agenda for teachers who are involved in the mentorship programs, the tutoring programs, and the coaches. You have teachers like Ryan Sheridan and Bill Napoli, who both went, through the Belleville school system. And shout out to them and their colleagues, because we couldn't really make this a great experience for the kids without that commitment. We know that teaching isn't just the day's work and it's done. It goes well beyond that, and being involved with the community. And on that note of community, I just want to thank the board so very much for coming out to townwide events that aren't even involved with the school per se. It's so huge, and it builds the relationship and it strengthens it. And as a parent, in this town, it's just so great to see all of that. So thank you.
Mr. Carter?
Good evening, everyone. Again, I would also like to thank the retirees. Congratulations. And on another note, Mr. Egan hasn't been here for a couple of meetings. So are we doing that good that there's no report, or will there be a report in the future in absentia? How are we doing? What's our progress? Maybe he could leave a report for somebody to read.
Yes, just for everyone's edification, Mr. Egan is now helping the transition over to Lyndhurst, as we know. So he planned on being here tonight, but if you've read in the news recently, they had a mold issue over there just last week, so they have a meeting tonight. So he was at that meeting. He was hoping to make this meeting, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But he will. I should say he'll definitely be here next meeting, but if not, we'll definitely have a report.
I'd like to know, we are making progress and, putting all things in the proper perspective. The things that we still need to improve and improve upon, we should know what those are from the perspective of the monitor, so that the day will come that we won't need his services. Thank you.
Can I have a motion to close public participation?
Motion. Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Moving on to resolutions. I have, we're going to be polling number 48 separately, so can I start with a motion on 1 through 47 and 49 through 52?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Palladino?
Trustee Garland.
Yes.
Trustee Jacko. Trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Trustee Shore.
Yes.
Trustee Sheldon.
Yes.
Vice President Guerrero. Yes. Madam President.
Yes, except 14 where I take no part. Can I have a motion on number 48?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Palladino?
Trustee Garland.
Yes.
Trustee Jacko. Trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Trustee Shore.
Yes.
Trustee Sheldon.
Yes, before I do cast my vote in favor, I just want to welcome Ms. Thompson to our district. If any of you had a chance to read her resume, she is eminently qualified to serve as our new K-12 curriculum director, and it's just personally satisfying to me to have yet another woman in a key administrative position in Belleville to help celebrate the current gender imbalance. So I welcome Ms. Thompson to look at your career and a positive yes for me.
Vice President Guerrero.
Yes.
And Madam President.
Yes. We have nothing on curriculum instruction. Moving on to board action, board policy. We're going to start with, we're going to pull 9.1 separately. Can I have a motion on 2 through 23?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Palladino?
Trustee Garland.
Yes.
Trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Trustee Shore.
Yes.
Trustee Sheldon.
Yes.
Vice President Guerrero.
Yes.
Madam President.
Yes. Can I have a motion on 9.1?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Palladino?
Trustee Garland.
Yes.
Trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Trustee Shore.
Yes.
Trustee Sheldon.
On the advice of council, because I received the endorsement of both the BEA and VIVO last fall, I am taking no part in this vote.
Vice President Guerrero.
Yes.
And Madam President.
My pleasure to say yes. Can I have a motion on purchasing and business services 1 and 2?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Palladino?
Trustee Garland.
Yes.
Trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Trustee Shore.
Yes.
Trustee Sheldon.
Yes.
Vice President Guerrero.
Yes.
Madam President.
Yes. Can I have a motion on finance 1 through 3?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Palladino?
Trustee Garland.
Yes.
Trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Trustee Shore.
Yes.
Trustee Sheldon.
Yes.
Vice President Guerrero.
Yes.
Madam President.
Yes. Can I have a motion to open for public participation?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Remarks regarding any items and issues that are relevant to the educational system. A participant must sign in and be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface comments by announcing his or her name, municipality, and group affiliation if appropriate. The individual called shall proceed with a maximum of 5 minutes. All statements shall be directed to the President of the Board of Education. No participant may address board members individually. Ms. Urbano?
Hello again. So I like to shine light on, positive experiences. So I'd just like to give a couple quick shout outs here. As I mentioned, I have a child at school 8, the junior high and high school. So it's sad to see our secretary got switched, but we're so thrilled with Monica Hunt over at number 8. She's really terrific. And the 3rd grade team is really spectacular, especially Ms. Kana and Mrs. Murphy. I wanted to say that. And I had the pleasure of meeting one of our new provisional teacher mentors at the junior high, Michael Darcy. So terrific and a great fit for the honors team over there. So I'm just coming from what I do know. So if I'm misinformed, I trust you to help me with that. I know Erin Chamberlain was an integral part of the Mr. and Miss Belleville pageant program, and I know that she's not here this school year, so I was just wondering if the program is going to continue for the 6th year. It is. That's wonderful. I've had the pleasure of having some involvement with Mr. and Ms. Belleville and doing some collaboration with Girl Scouts, and it's just really terrific. Like I mentioned, just keeping things going with the community and all of that. I do have a question which doesn't necessarily need to be answered. It's more of a request. So the pageant is Mr. and Ms. Belleville, and I just want to throw out the suggestion just to increase inclusivity. Just to consider, transgender students or non-binary students who don't identify necessarily with the title of Mr. or Miss. So no response needed, just a little comment, just something that the board could maybe consider going forward. And I'd also like to say how helpful it is that we get the weekly messages for the varsity games, like the home games. I don't know if anybody else is getting them or not, but it's so helpful because I know my kids' team schedule, but not the other games. And we want to try to encourage community engagement, and this is a great way by getting those phone calls, saying, hey, this is what's going on, in town this week. So whoever's idea it was, I thank you so much. Please take credit, that's terrific, and you can get it from me.
Charlie Moran.
Charlie Moran, I'm a teacher here in Belleville. I'm up here tonight to speak on behalf of the BEA negotiations team and the entire association. I want to publicly thank our superintendent, Dr. Tomko, and all board trustees, especially Ms. Jacko, Vice President Barrera, and President Lamparello for what I thought was a pretty pain-free experience in the negotiations process. Never having been on the negotiations team before, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I was really thrown into the deep end when I was chosen to be the negotiations chair on top of that. I was told it would consist of late nights, which it did, and lots of data collection, which there was. But in the end, I believe we met at the best deal possible for both sides, and a lot of that has to do with the positive relationship that's been cultivated between the BEA and this Board of Education. On behalf of the negotiations team and our membership who was able to come out and ratify this contract, I just want to thank you for a quick and professional negotiation process. And we look forward to seeing you guys in 4.5 years. Thank you.
On the agenda for tonight, there was a change in the HIV policy, regulation 5512. So can you tell me the difference between the one that was abolished and the adjustments and changes that were taken on the first and second reading that you voted on tonight?
Thank you. So a lot of I thought maybe John was going to do something about things. Basically, one of the main changes in there is giving the principals more ability to decide what is an HIV case or not. So basically, now there's a distinct definition of what HIV is. It took us a few years, not us, it took the state a few years to identify that. And now they're giving the principals a little bit more leeway in identifying those things that are codes of conduct versus HIV. So I think one of the things that you see from the abolishment of an old policy to the creation of a new policy, which came from the state, and as a mandate, is the fact that they understand that in the trenches here, it's very difficult to explain the previous policy to parents, because when you get a letter home from a child that's bullied or being bullied, it's very boilerplate. So now it's giving the principals some more leeway. There's also some change in there with timelines. I don't know the exact number right off the top of my head, I'll look again, but 10 days versus 20 days, or trying to make it more streamlined to give everyone more of a benefit to communicate.
The specific changes that Dr. Tomko has explained, I'll give you sort of a big picture on this. When the HIV law was adopted in 2010, I believe, it was really a landmark and created, as important as it is to focus on bullying and the issues you've seen, especially here in New Jersey. I think there was a general consensus, this is the an overall legislative side, that something needed to be done, but it was done all at once, and it created a significant administrative burden and paperwork burden on boards of education. So I want, and unfunded. And one of the districts in Sussex County, as I recall, even won their case before the Council on Unfunded Mandates to say that you gave us all these new rules, but in fact, we don't have the ability and the funds in a small district like theirs to handle all this. But significantly, over the last, so 2010 to 2017, I think was when these changes started to come before the State Board of Education. Really, they were looking for ways to chip away the Board of Education, like Belleville and all boards throughout the state's responsibilities, but at the same time maintain the integrity of the law, give the boards a little more flexibility, freak out parents a little less, and I think that some of the specifics that Dr. Tom was describing are being reflected in the policy just to ensure that they're in line with the regulations that are now in place.
So are you saying that you feel that there's a more clear-cut application of the law in specific instances? I mean, the language was very vague on the initial mandate, and that's where a lot of the issues and problems develop in terms of interpretation of the law and what actually goes on in the classroom or in a particular school.
So I imagine, my guess, knowing, representing lots of boards like Belleville, I can imagine that it'll continue to morph as administrators provide feedback and as the political, winds shift. This right now gives the board a lot more flexibility, administration more flexibility, because the principals now have some ability to make these calls, whereas before they didn't. I think I wouldn't call this tailored perfectly to what is the realities for school districts, but it's better than it was before.
Will each case still come to the board, or will it be at the discretion of the principal?
The principal has some, not total discretion, some discretion as to whether or not to send these matters to the administration, but not if the case ends up being investigated, and it will always end up going before the board still.
All right, so if I as a parent don't agree with what the principal's interpretation of particular incident that happened, will I as a parent be able to appeal to the board and state my case as a parent? Because let's face it, in some instances, we have parents that, oh, not my little Johnny, he's an angel. So now we're looking at schools with principals that are saying the same thing. Not in my school, that just doesn't happen. And they want to characterize situations in a more positive light than they actually are, as not to have that negative connotation with the behavior in their particular school. So, if I don't agree with a particular teacher or principal in terms of how they characterize an incident and how it went down, and whether it's characterized as a code of conduct issue or a bullying issue, do I, as a parent, or does my child, which in some cases they may even be of majority age, do they or I have the ability to appeal to the board and circumvent the principal based upon the new law?
Yes, in the sense that you have the ability at the appropriate level. So you wouldn't go right to the board.
Of course.
If your principal felt like there was no need to investigate. You would then go to, the administration, the superintendent, or would be superintendent in Belleville? Okay, and then superintendent would make that determination and
Will all these determinations be given within a specific time frame in writing to a parent?
Procedurally, yes. We communicate with the parents on that through paperwork or letters. And
I'm talking about if a principal decided that it did not, there was sufficient evidence
Yes.
to be a bullying incident.
Yes, all the letters home. First of all, the conversation. We're going to make sure the conversation says that as well. But then the follow-up letters will give the timeline. But a parent has the right to appeal this all the way to the Commissioner of Education. So there's a several appeals process, which fortunately we've done a great job here in our hearings. The board is very, very meticulous with the HIV cases. So again, I think this fits Belleville pretty well with some of the changes. especially, we've done a lot of work with this. Well, I mean, you remember my first meeting, we've been talking about it since my first meeting here, so it's been 4 years, so we've come a long way. And again, I think you hit on the head when you said it was an underfunded or an unfunded mandate, so we're trying to do the best we can in training, and we'll continue to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to close public participation?
Motion.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Moving on to board member reports, Ms. Short.
I would first like to report on the athletic committee. I'm the co-chair along with Erica Jacko. So I'm going to do the report that you would normally receive for athletics. Glad to give you the win and loss for teams cross country, boys varsity 4-4, girls varsity 5-4. Football, as we know, 3-0. Junior varsity 1-1. Freshman 0-4. Boys soccer, varsity 1-3 and 2 were a tie. Junior varsity 0-3, 1 was a tie. Freshman 1-3 with 1 tie. Girls soccer, varsity 3-3, junior varsity 0-4. Tennis 2-7, junior varsity 2-3. Girls volleyball 5-5. Junior varsity 8-1, freshman 5-4. We don't have any reports yet on cheerleading competitions. There is one comment that I would like to add, since as a Belleville resident, many of us do see Facebook. And we've been very, very thrilled as Belleville residents with the blue and gold and our Bucks winning. And yet someone did put up meaning well, yes, they're doing well because they're within another conference and they're not within the same grouping that they had previously been. And I know that that person is trying to explain possibly to those of us in the community, they may not understand conference groupings, it's groups that we play. All I can say is it's a win, they're clean wins, and these are our kids. And we should just be thrilled with the fact that our kids are doing well, that they're winning, and not feel that, well, it's not as competitive as perhaps another conference that they had. Our kids are conducting themselves in an honorable, in a fair manner, in the way they play, in the way the students out there in the stands are conducting themselves. So, go Belleville. Our kids are doing well. Thank you to that coach, but to all the coaches and all the parent volunteers that are out there working for the good of our kids and making this a great town. So I just want to give you that report. I'd also like you to know that from what I know, school opening has gone very, very well. Congratulations to those of you who are out there as retirees. I remember what it felt like. It's like when September starts, it doesn't really feel real. Okay, you get that weird feeling that you should belong someplace else. And eventually it does get out of your head because you keep on saying, well, at this time of the day, this is what we would be doing, this is where we would be. Eventually you don't think about it as much, but it definitely is there, and it's normal. And I have to admit that unfortunately I would watch the crazy talk shows in the morning and drink my Dunkin' Donuts. So congrats, just enjoy everything, stay healthy. Also, I attended with our president, Chris Lamparello. We went to the PTA home school where all the building administrators were there as well, with Dr. Tomko and some of our directors, when the PTA and the home and schools met, and we discussed the different activities and how the organizations at times can unite as one single organization for the good of accomplishing certain goals. And that, led by Ms. Kelleher, that was an absolute pleasure. Back to school night, at the school, 5 parents, whatever you're doing, it's phenomenal. It was a great, great turnout of parents The staff was there. Ms. Gilligan was just constantly on the feet, taking care of all details. And a special shout out to those of us who are locals and know Mr. Purcell. Mr. Purcell stands at that door and he greets every parent. He knows the children, giving the directions. Mr. Purcell is such a proud part of that family, and he speaks very highly of the leadership we have here in the district. Just a party. Again, Ms. Kelleher was there, Dr. Tomko was there, Mr. Klein, there were so many administrators that were there. Our high school principal, I believe Mr. Drotsky worked nonstop at that booth. And you know, the new principal of School 7, I don't remember his name. Mr. Belton. It was a nice night, but it was on the human side. There was Mr. Belton carrying his child. If any of those remember, it was a beautiful thing to see. I mean, he wants so much to be part of our community, and he had his child there on his arm. There were so many. The BEA had this great booth. Our home and schools were there. It was a great night, and our district was well represented. So I need to say, you didn't have to do that, but I saw it, and I just want you to know that it's appreciated and it's recognized. I did participate in the interview for the new director of curriculum, Ms. Thompson, and I have to say, because I know that eyebrows will be raised, because perhaps we have a previous district, this person is so highly qualified, and we were so impressed with her that we are committed to her position as Director of Curriculum KA. I also had the opportunity, Ms. Lamparella has given me as much opportunity as she can to allow me to have access to the committees, and I was able to sit in because of Ms. Lamparella allowing me to do so, because she had another commitment for the district where she had me, but I sat on policy. And we are pretty much on target. It's something that we continuously have to work on. And in reference to that, Georgianne, Ms. Blight, if I can let you know that I say that a lot of the policy language in that was adjusted and tightened up to make sure that we were following code. And there was an addition, if I'm correct, Dr. Tomko, with school climate teams. That was also part of it. And one of the reasons I would do that is I was just checking the policy on my own. So it's not restricting the parents more. It's allowing the parents access, but certainly the district is clearly obligated in how it follows through. If anything, it's better because it's tighter and it follows the statute. So it's there. As far as Ms. Schiff from the construction conference, the trades are not something that are a cast off because students can't get into college. The trades are a viable option. And if one is to get into a trade, and especially through the unions, there is extensive training while they are through, we would call it the journeyman process, until they are fully accepted into the union and designated as highly skilled. So people will say, well, some people aren't meant to go to college. Who's meant to go to college? It's the aspiration of what you want to be and where you want to go, and the trades do not fall into second-class citizen status. I'm excited to see that the trades are really becoming more visible and are going to recruit our kids. And I hope that we see more of it. One teacher who teaches cabinetry who is here, academically he has extensive background. And only I can speak to that because he's my neighbor. I know him from the time he's very young. He has extensive graduate degrees behind him in a variety of things. And his background in what he teaches goes back generations, just not in academic training. The summer vacation, that adjustment is better because of the fact that summer goes too quickly for all of us, including the kids. When it gets hot, and if the rooms are air conditioned, the kids just have a problem focusing. So this board event is so on target with the referendum work. I honestly have to say, I'm impressed. So Mr. Palladino and Dr. Tomko are working very, very hard to make sure that they develop procedures and stopgaps to make sure that the errors that occurred, many of them before they appeared on the scene, will not repeat themselves. No financial process is not within exceptions during an audit. Hopefully, we will never see the history of exceptions for audits that happened years ago in this district. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shaw. Ms. Lopez?
Okay, I'll try to be very brief. With regard to the Finance Committee, we are meeting religiously prior to every board meeting. Most important thing, we're in balance. When I first became chair of the Finance Committee, we weren't in balance. I have to say, I gave Mr. Palladino a very hard time in the beginning because of some of the information we were provided, but he is doing an excellent job. We combed through that bill list, right? We're fine-tuned. We even had the special education bills audited at one point, right? Anything we see that's suspect, we ask questions. And this last week, we asked him some questions, and he pulls up the itemizations at the drop of a dime. You know, so he's been very good, very thorough. So I just want the public to rest assured that we are doing our job. A few quick notes that I took about tonight's meeting. I want to say kudos about the breakfast program. It is important. You all know that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And I think that, you know, providing our children, as Ms. Obama said, with the proper nutrition is paramount. And I'm looking forward to seeing the data, and congratulations to Dr. Tomko for bringing that program to the district. I want to say congrats to our trade program leaders. I think it is important to expose our kids to the trades. It is a lucrative career choice, and I'm pleased to know that we are providing this opportunity to our children and we're giving them options, right? Congratulations to our retirees. As a teacher, I know that not only do we become second parents to these kids, which is a very important role, we definitely leave a lasting impression on our children. Just last week, I had 3 of them reach out to me in 1 week, right? So we know that it's an important part. I know you're gonna miss these kids, like she said, like Ms. Short said. It'll probably be a little bit strange for you. We know that you invested large amounts of your personal time to prepare those lesson plans to make sure that instruction was right on point. I know that, and I thank you for that personal investment and for your contribution to our children. Congratulations on the appointment of Nicole Thompson to the position of Director of Elementary Education Grade. I'm looking forward to the energy and innovation that she will bring to our school district. Most importantly, I was elated to hear the positive tenor on the part of the negotiations chair. This board has worked really hard to engender goodwill and to rebuild communications between our administration and teachers, and it just meant so much to me to hear you come forward and speak so positively of your experience. And I just know that that will translate to the classroom, and really provide the best possible education for our children. So, thank you for that. And that concludes my remarks for this evening. Thank you all for coming out and supporting the work that we do for our children.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. Mr. Garland?
Thank you everyone for coming out. This Rise and Shine program is, you can't say enough about it. And walking around the town, I have parents coming up to me all day, congratulating the board for doing that. I hear nothing but positive feedback about this, except via Facebook. Of course, you always get your complaints. You can't help that. But it's a great program for our kids to have a little nutrition value. Some parents don't have time in the morning. Parents working 2 jobs to get some food in their children, which is so important before they go. And a lot of people can't afford the simple things in life anymore. So this is nothing but a positive program. I'm very excited about the trade unions getting involved and willing to get involved in career night. I'm an advocate of the trades. Anything I can do to support any student that wants to get involved in the parades or anything the board can do, I'm 100% supportive of anything to do with the trades. Also, I'd like to thank our Belleville Police Department and our security department for the cooperative effort they have between each other, keeping our students safe every day. A lot of things happen that people don't see, but Belleville is one of the safest towns out there. Our school district is going to be one of the best in the state, if not the best. Things are really moving forward up here. I see a lot going on. And go Buccaneers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garland. Mr. Sheldon?
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank or congratulate the board's negotiation team and the negotiation team for the BEA for so painlessly and seamlessly arriving at a new contract. Congratulations for this new 5-year contract. I wish I could have voted, but as I said earlier, because of the support I had from the teachers last fall when I ran for the board, I was advised by council that it wouldn't really be appropriate for me to vote this time. But, in your hearts, you know where my sympathies or my support lies. The referendum work for the summer is just about completed at this point. Over the last few weeks, I've had the opportunity to attend all of the pre-bid meetings to listen to our architects, DeCarlo Rubino, explain to contractors who are interested in the projects that will be taking place next year. And the count, next year, we're going to have 20 projects going on simultaneously. So it's going to be a whirlwind of activity, no matter what school you look at next summer. But there's really some dramatic, remarkable improvements that are slated to occur starting late next April through the end of August. That includes replacement of all the windows at the high school. And it's actually kind of neat how that replacement takes place. The window units are modular. They're bolted in place at the floor and at the ceiling. So what's going to happen essentially is the old windows get unbolted, disconnected, and the new units, which are totally modern, totally thermally insulated, will be swapped in place. So it's going to be really dramatic to witness how the facade of the high school transforms during the course of next year. All of the schools are slated to get brand new lighting, LED lighting, and there's a lot of technology that's going in with these new lighting systems. The lights have high-tech sensors so that during the daytime, if there's enough ambient sunshine, the lights will automatically dim accordingly, so-called daylight harvesting to save on utility bills. When the room is empty, the room lights will automatically turn off, and conversely, when somebody enters the room, the lights will automatically turn themselves back on. So there's really a wonderful slate of things that will be happening, especially next year with the referendum. So stay tuned. Some of you do follow my Facebook page, and I've been posting some of the referendum pictures as a community service, but we ain't seen nothing yet. Next summer is going to be just incredible to watch the referendum really fully roll out. The last thing I wanted to mention is that as the chair of the Curriculum and Programming, Instruction Programming Committee, I've been working with Dr. Tomko and others to try to roll out what we're calling Family Math Night. Hopefully before the next board meeting on October 15th, we'll have an official announcement about this. But very simply, Family Math Night involves giving our students and their parents the opportunity to come back to the schools once a week and to work together with their teachers on their math homework. Not only will this help increase the bonding and community interaction here, but it'll help parents especially better appreciate the new teaching techniques which are at the heart of the Common Core. I know that a lot of parents have expressed online and to me directly that they don't really fully appreciate the new modalities used to teach basic math skills, but this will hopefully be an opportunity to teach not only the students, but also their parents what's going on with new math instruction. So stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have an announcement about that before the next board meeting, the 15th of October. And then finally, I want to congratulate the Belleville football team to a remarkable start to this season. They're 3-0. They've been crushing their opponents to date. I think their next home game is in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. All right, so not this week, but next Friday they'll have another home game. Please make every effort to turn out. I've been attending all the home games. I expected to see a lot more people in the stands this past week, but still a lot of empty seats. Our team use all the community support we can offer. So with that said, have a very good evening, and look forward to seeing everyone again on October 15th.
Mr. Sheldon, Mr. Barrera.
Good evening, everyone. Not much to be said. My colleagues covered everything pretty much, and I have to say that I concur with their comments and their praises to all that's going on and all the progress that's being made. I definitely want to congratulate the retired teachers. Unfortunately, one of them whom I remember taught my daughters. I'd like to give a special shout out and thank her for the time educating her, mentoring them, and keeping them safe during their time here at Belleville High. It's a pleasure. It's a shame to see you go, but it's a pleasure to see you guys have the opportunity to enjoy the new stage of life. So congratulations and good luck, and enjoy. Stay healthy. Teachers, I'm definitely a pro-teacher guy. I've said that from the get-go. Yes, there was some rough spots, but we made it. The contract was signed, and it was a pleasure working, and it was very nice to hear the praises, and I look forward to continue working together as a team for the progress of our district, our town, and most importantly, the education of our children. With that being said, thank you all and have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Barrera. I'll try and keep it quick. So I'll start with negotiations since that's where Mr. Barrera left off. It was a pleasure working with all of you. We did 3 rounds of negotiations this year, and I have to say, I never thought I would be in that position, but it was fun and it wasn't, but I'm just so glad that we have a contract and we could all walk away in a happy place. Congratulations to all the retirees. See Ms. Brandt, I think more now than when she was my son's teacher. It's just everywhere I go, she's around because she's retired and she can just go anywhere she wants. We're working on, our relationship with the town council. There's been a little bit of a change over there. So what they've done is they've created a council liaison position, and that would be Mr. Graziano, is our liaison from the town council, and he'll be coming to our meetings, and I am their liaison from us, and I go to their meetings, so we can forge a little bit more of a working relationship. I can't be any happier for the football team. I'm a football parent alumni from 2010. I still go to every game, and I sit in my same spot on the 45-yard line, and it has been a pleasure to sit there lately because there's so much action going on, and it's awesome. So congratulations to the football team. Don't forget the Columbus Day Parade is on October 7th. It starts here and it works down Durham Street and then it makes the right onto Franklin Avenue and goes to Nutley. Hispanic Heritage Festival on October 13th out here in the parking lot. I'm the liaison for number 8 school, so I got to go to their homeschool meeting last Thursday, which was great, and I thank them for inviting me in and forging a great relationship with them. We had a great time at Just a Party. I think we went through like over 2,000 giveaways, so I think probably everybody that was there has some kind of something with the Belleville School District logo on it, and that's like a great thing. And I think that's it. Can I have a motion to adjourn? All in favor? Opposed? Before you guys go,